All right, what is going on? Happy Monday morning for everybody tuning into this. I hope that you are doing well. Welcome to the Risen Fallen podcast. I am your host, Mark Hendrickson. I'm just closing a bunch of the apps that I have open on my computer right now because, the same way that everyone always has like a million tabs open on like their Google Chrome or their Safari or whatever. I just punched the mic into my mouth as well. But you know how everyone always has like a bunch of like tabs open on like their Google Chrome or their Safari or whatever it is. I do the same thing, except I also do it. I do it with that, but I also do it with all the apps on my computer. I didn't mean to. Oh, no, I didn't mean to close that one. Are you sure you want to close? No. So we'll keep that open because that is what's recording me right now. And we'll keep the VPN open, and pretty much that's it. What's going on? Happy Monday. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to the podcast. I hope that your Monday is going well. If you're like me, maybe you're driving to work right now, or you're driving to as this drops, I'm getting ready for work. I'm recording this on the weekend. It is Saturday evening right now. I'm literally about to get in bed, but I just wanted to come on here and chat with you guys. Just wrapping up my day. Don't even remember what I was talking about, but how are we doing today? I hope that you guys are doing well. Yeah, like I said, if you're listening to this right now, I'm probably getting ready or driving to work, and so I hope that you are starting your Monday off well, and that you are feeling good about starting this week and getting into it and getting excited and jumping on in. So that's what I am doing this week, I just want to check in with you guys and see how you're doing. And I don't know if you guys are anything like me in the sense that, I've purposely had to try over the last few years to get myself to be more of a person of routine and discipline. Naturally, I'll be honest, I'm a lazy fucking guy. I'm a lazy prick, naturally. If left to my own devices, I say this, just as kind of hindsight, looking back at myself and looking back at especially a lot of the decisions that I've made. I am the type of person that if left to my own devices, I'm going to take the easy way out. I am going to take the path of least resistance. I am the type of person that, I kind of just, as my parents used to say, I fly by the seat of my pants. I didn't really like to make a plan or make a structure. Those types of things made me, kind of anxious. I felt like maybe I wouldn't be able to stick to the plan or uphold my end of the commitment or whatever it could be. I'm not sure why, but it used to just make me kind of uncomfortable or kind of made me feel restrained or kind of, and so naturally I just kind of didn't like to have a lot of structure in my life or discipline in my life. It wasn't something that was kind of instilled in me in a young age. And so over the last few years, I've actually had to go about cultivating this maybe more structure or discipline or more, just become a little bit more structured in my life, and some of the ways that that's manifested is the, little things from, the way that the dishes are done or when the dishes are done or, when laundry is done or when, little things like that. Sometimes it's, waking up at the same time every single day, just instilling discipline and structure into my life in many different ways. The types of places I go, what I eat, what I drink, where I go, when I go to bed, when I wake up, those types of things, when I exercise, I've purposely structured a lot of different things in my life to just be repetitive and kind of mundane, just to kind of streamline it and in a lot of ways build a lot more discipline and accountability and responsibility. And I think that is a good thing for a lot of people to do. I think that a lot of times, especially if you've grown up to be a little bit more privileged than you need to be, for whatever reason that is. And I think that could be a lot of us. I think that we're all very blessed and we're all very fortunate, especially if you grew up in Vancouver or in Canada or in North America, anywhere really. We are told that we are like the top 1% of the world. And I think that when you get, there's that saying of like, hard men create good times create weak men create hard times restart the cycle, or whatever it could be. But we were born at a time and place that was very very blessed, and very, we have abundance in a lot of different ways. And so because of that, a lot of us didn't have to develop a lot of structure or discipline to be able to survive. We were just, born in a very fortunate time and place, and so we didn't have to develop those things. It was, it's like the ground was so fertile that we didn't have to, pay attention and be as what's the word I'm trying to think of? Meticulous, or as purposeful, or as, diligent with how we planted the seeds. The soil was so fertile for us here in North America that a lot of us could get away with not having a lot of structure in the beginning portions of our lives. And now it's time to catch up and kind of instill these, this discipline and this structure in our lives, and to be able to delay gratification, and to be able to hold ourselves accountable and responsible for, the situations and positions that we find ourselves in life. And so one of the things that I was going to say is I think that building this type of, rigidity or structure in life can be extremely beneficial. In a lot of ways, it can help, dig you out of, if you've dug yourself into a deep hole in life, having a little bit more structure and discipline in your life is probably going to help dig you out of it, because, a lot of these problems that we face in life are not created in one day. It's not like you just like trip and fall in all your problems, or you just fall into a hole of fucking problems. It's like usually it's like a downward spiral that happens pretty gradually. And, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like boiling the frog. Like, it happens 1 degree at a time, slowly over time, and you don't notice that it's happening until you're like, it's fucking hot in here, man. What the hell? And so I think that remembering that, you could understand that, having a structure or a disciplined lifestyle would help get you out of those holes one day at a time, or one step out of a time. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like if you spend 1,000 days being undisciplined and unstructured, you're gonna get, further and further from where you want to be in life. And if you spend, 1,000 days structured and disciplined, you're going to be in the exact opposite trajectory. And so the more days that you can spend structured and disciplined, the closer you'll be to the future self that you'd like to have, or be, or life that you'd like to have. Or I don't know if I messed that up, but maybe recording at night isn't the best way to go about it. And so one of the things that I've been trying to do recently, I guess what I'm trying to say is there's pros and cons to having that type of structure and rigidity in your life. And obviously the benefits seem pretty obvious and self-evident in that it's going to help you, become more disciplined and more structured in your life. And you're going to get closer to the place you'd like to be. You're going to build more confidence. You're going to build more skills that you'd like to build or that you don't have. Or, I talk about these types of benefits all the time. But one of the things I wanted to talk about today is the idea of keeping things novel and new and having new experiences. Because as important as it is to keep things structured and disciplined and rigid and hold yourself accountable and create responsibility with yourself, it's also important to remember to have some sort of novelty in your life and to have new experiences, to be able to feel fulfilled and to be able to, I guess, really there's many different reasons. The first one is just sheer dopamine levels and joy, because I think that it's pretty obvious when you look at like any addictions or anything like that, you always hear about the idea or the term chasing the dragon, like when people, well, I guess maybe that's not the best term or idea that I'm thinking of, but I guess what I'm trying to say is like you're always like kind of chasing that high, I guess is a better way to say it. Because say you do a thing or a drug or whatever it is, and you get like a certain level of a dopamine response in your brain and your body, you're like, whoa, this is awesome or amazing or whatever it is that you're feeling. And then the more and more that you repeat that thing, the less of a dopamine response that you get. Pretty self fucking evident, right? Well, behaviors and habits and things like that are the exact same thing. If you, um, whatever it could be, you do something good for yourself, you do something every single day, eventually it's going to be like kind of monotonous and mundane, and you're going to get less and less of a dopamine response from that. And so the more and more that you do new experiences and have novelty and change it up every now and then, you're going to feel more happy and more fulfilled. You're going to get that higher level of dopamine rush whenever you do the things that actually do give you a dopamine rush. And so it doesn't take away from the things that you're already doing. It actually supplements the things that you're already doing, because you're resetting that dopamine level for yourself, that feel good neurotransmitter. And just kind of, when you're falling into doing the same thing over and over again, you're obviously, like I said, depleting that amount of dopamine that you're going to receive every single time that you do it. But that's just kind of my theory and my kind of thoughts on it. I don't know if that's actually scientifically accurate. I'm not a fucking doctor, but that's what I think. And maybe you guys can do your research, but I think all of us can relate or think about a time where we've experienced just trying something new and the thrill that we get from it. It's almost like a high or a rush. I know, like, there's a lot of times where, maybe you come home from a vacation or a camping trip, or maybe you do something fun, like you just kind of like, I don't know, you just try something new. Like when you're driving home, you're like, wow, I wish I didn't end. I want to keep doing it. Or maybe you're still thinking about it when you get home, or whatever it could be. But I just know that, like, the first time I tried a lot of the things that I fell in love with, I was like, whoa, this is something that I never thought I'd be able to do. Or, kind of like it surprised me that it was like, whoa, this is actually so much fun. And that's kind of one of the other benefits to, just mixing in a little bit of novelty and trying new things. I'm not saying to stray or completely throw away your structure or your routine, but to, be able to just sprinkle it in, like a little bit of seasoning on top. Like maybe, to just be able to try new flavors and find what you love. And it sounds like I'm talking about a menu or different, like, kind of meal prepping things, but that's a great freaking example of just keeping things novel while still being rigid and structured and disciplined. Say, for example, you make steak for all your meal prep meals all the time, and you love steak and you don't want to change that. You get all your nutrients and you get all your vitamins or whatever. You feel great when you eat that, but you want to change it up. You want to stay, you want to have some novelty in your life. You could change the seasoning that you make the food with. You could change, the side dishes that you make the food with. You could change the vegetables. You can change the fruits. You could change, the when you eat it or whatever it could be. And it sounds kind of silly when I'm talking about foods, but that translates to everything in life. You can still maintain your discipline and maintain your routine and have a structured lifestyle, and still guilt-free, without deviation and without kind of like stepping off your plan, be able to sprinkle in some novelty and some new experiences or some new flavors in life, and to be able to, reap the benefits of, refreshed dopamine levels from, new experiences, as well as try new things and maybe find, heaven forbid, you even might find something new that you love. But it just kind of like this, I just feel like this idea that a lot of us get stuck on when we get into this realm or time in our lives about self-development and kind of like betterment in terms of trying to improve our lives or our happiness or become more productive members of society. And I think that a lot of the times we, kind of have this pendulum swing of like, I grew up with no structure and now I need to have a ton of structure. And like this pendulum swings back and forth until we realize that so many times in our lives that, it's this like stupid, silly cliche of balance in life, and just trying to understand, like, okay, we have to find some structure. We have to be disciplined. We have to be responsible and be held accountable for where we are in life. But as well, we need to discover new things. We need to play and experiment and have fun and have novel experiences where we get to be humbled. We get to, try something new and know nothing. and just kind of understand that it's okay to be a kid. It's okay to be a student. It's okay to just be clueless or to have fun and to experiment in life. And that's, it just because you're playing around with your like kind of like child self or whatever it is like that you call it or refer to it, it doesn't mean that you have to step away or deviate from being an adult and having, a structured lifestyle and discipline instilled around the pillars that hold up the rest of your mental health, like, what you're eating and what what type of exercise, and if you're exercising at all, or your relationships or anything like that. And in the topic of relationships, just in terms of like novelty and trying new things, like I'm probably guilty of this the most, of like falling into habits and falling into routines, but keeping things novel, like talk about like, how to improve relationships. And that's not even like always romantic relationships, even just friendships, or just like, the way that you spend time with your family. Introducing novelty and new experiences is literally one of the most productive ways to create bonds with human beings. It's one of those things that, when we try something new, or when we experience something new, or, even when we overcome new obstacles together, those are things that unite and bond human beings. And so if you want to make any of your relationships better, whether it's your romantic relationships, your work relationships, that's why even companies do team building exercises, because when we experience new things together, whether they're positive and we have that level of dopamine rush together and we have that bonding experience, or it's a negative experience and we overcome it together because we have the tools to work together and to overcome these types of adversities together by utilizing each other's strengths. Like I said, whether that's a working relationship, a romantic relationship, or a friendship, or whatever it is, that is how we bond and unite. And so I just wanted to take this second to just kind of like, first of all, thank you guys for listening to this podcast, and recommend that if you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're listening to the podcast version of this, share with a friend, rate it 5 stars, leave a little review. And that's my little shameless plug, by the way. And I just wanted to have this little reminder for you guys. You might need it as much as I did in the last few weeks, is to, try and keep things novel, try and keep things fresh, try and keep things new. Try new things, and you never know. Like I said, you might find something that you love, and it might become your new fucking passion in life, your purpose, and what you start to pursue. And so, on that note, I feel like that's a good place to wrap this up. I will check in with you guys on Thursday. Make sure you check in with me. Much love. Peace out, you beautiful human beings. I love you all. Bye.